What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 13th day of April, and here we are at about 71.1K with roughly 11 hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. As I said, it's the 13th of April, and yesterday, Sunday, we did see a bit of a sell off. I mean, that was a 3% move to the downside. It's actually an aggressive move for the weekend, especially for just one day of the weekend, Sunday. Um, from top to bottom, we moved like over 4%, which is again pretty big for the weekend. I do believe that we're going to come back up. I do believe that we're going to fill the gap here and probably see prices around, if not above 73K again. There, with that, we have the potential to even get back above this high. We might get above this high, and right when you get above this high, that might be where we sell off, something like that. So just be prepared for some volatility. I very much do believe that this move here from a low to a high point is basically at its end. If we come up and we see a higher high, it's still basically at its end. We're not going to get like a higher high like this. I would not expect that we do. Um, and watch, we're going to have good news at the top, and then we're going to sell off anyways. And that just makes sense to me. I know that things are seeming to escalate with the Iran and United States and the Strait of Hormuz, and maybe they are. I don't know. I'm in this wait and see moment. Every time people are under the impression that peace is happening, this conflict is over, we get the rug pulled out from under us. Anytime anybody thinks that the war is going to escalate, we get the rug pulled out from under us. Um, who was it? There was somebody. Was it the Turkish president or prime minister? Somebody was saying that they believe this ceasefire will get extended to a 45-day period. It'll get extended, and that the talks actually went rather well. And that's what J.D. Vance said yesterday. He didn't say that the ceasefire would get extended. He said that the talks went very well, and that there was actually a lot of good communication back and forth. But the one thing, the most important thing to the United States, or at least to JD and Trump and his administration, and I would think most of America, it should be the most important thing, maybe even to the world, is that Iran does not pursue nuclear weaponry. And it seemed as though they could not meet an agreement there. So I think it is a bit of a theater at this point. I think they know, and if the ceasefire does get extended, then I think they know that things are going to work out. Right? They're trying to figure some stuff out, whatever it is. Um, but if I'm wrong, if things do escalate, whatever, I don't imagine that escalation is going to cause the price to dump down like this in one day. I don't imagine that salvation will cause the price to pump up in one day. The war started back here on the 28th of February, and I mean, we've just been moving sideways ever since. We're on the upper end of sideways, so we're probably going to move down overall. Getting back to the TA, the original thought here is that this move is basically at its end. So I don't care what narrative comes out, we're likely working our way back down, and it could be a little bit swift. It could be like over the next week or two. You know, maybe by the end of April we're down here, and then into the end of the month we have a little bit of a rally. But I do expect that we'll see prices back below 68K from here at some point. But before then, we likely do move up. And the question here really for me is, do we see a higher high? I think we could. I think we could see a slightly higher high. Get right above this point of resistance, right above that point of resistance. Everybody gets excited, and then that's whenever we dump off, right? We get some good news maybe about Iran and the United States, and then we dump off. I don't know. Anyways, and I bet that good news at the top will be the ceasefire extends, and then we'll drop, right? I mean, the ceasefire got announced right here, and we're down from that point in time. Anyways, looking at this here, and be careful what you're seeing on the internet, guys. I mean, I know there's a lot of there's like this video circulating of this guy who I don't even know if he was Iranian or not, but he had a thick accent. He was threatening the U.S. naval vessels, saying if you see any ships within 10 miles, we will attack without warning. I don't think that was a actual militant personnel. I don't think that was military personnel for Iran. I think that was just some dude. I don't know. That's just my perspective. Maybe it was military personnel, but I think it was just some dude with a phone being funny. But anyways, 71.1K, 10 hours, 53 minutes left in the day, and people just believe anything in the internet. So then stupid stuff like that gets circulated. 1 hour time frame here, getting into it. And even if it was real, you know, they can try, but the United States is definitely going to make it. They know at this point, I think, that if they try anything like that, it's not going to be good for them. Um, Bitcoin futures, we look at this. Let's see. Bitcoin futures, we did gap down. We have a little gap here. I think today, tomorrow, the next day, over this week, we are going to fill that gap. And then maybe by the end of the week, we come back down. Or next week, going into the end of the month, we come back down. Not only do we have a gap here to fill, but we also have gaps down here to fill and down here to fill. I mean, this takes us all the way down to 67.1K. So with that being said, Bitcoin does have a date with destiny down to about 67K and maybe even lower. And that makes sense. Again, think about what that means. We go all the way down here, somewhere in this range. Oh no, it's just another higher low. Oh no, big deal. We're just moving sideways. That's actually the expectation. That should be the expectation. Looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, volume is dying off. You can see dying off as we're moving lower. And typically, whenever you break out like this, and we broke out. This was breakout volume. We broke out, and you continue to bleed like this. You don't see consolidation in the opposite. If you saw consolidation in the opposite direction, then you'd break out to the downside more likely. Whenever you see it like this, it's like forced selling or continued selling, and that selling pressure goes away. A lot of people might be panicking or thinking that they're reacting on the news and that's a good thing, just selling at unideal times, and that helps push the price down lower in the immediate terms. But what it really does is it gets rid of all the selling pressure, or most of the selling pressure, so there's only buyers left. If there's no sellers left and there's only buyers left, the price has an easy time moving up. And I really wouldn't be surprised. I really would not be surprised at all if we did see a higher high. And then right as soon as you get that higher high, that's whenever we sell off. I really wouldn't be surprised at all. Looking at this on the 1 hour here, the RSI is bearish. I mean, it's overall bearish right now, but there's a lot of volatility, man. I mean, getting overbought to oversold, pumping like this, I mean, you're definitely volatile. For right now, you've got a little bit of an uptrend coming in. You're above the 50. You're bearish, but not overly bearish at the moment. Stochastics are coming up. That's bullish. The MACD is coming up as well. It's bearish overall as well, but there's some bullish things. I really do expect, maybe from here, 71K, maybe we do move down a little bit lower or something like that. Maybe we see a higher low. We're just still moving sideways by the end of the day, but I do expect that sometime between now and the next 72 hours, would that be 72? Yeah, 72 hours, that we move up at least at a minimum to 72.5K to 72.7K. We can move to this level, and the gap here can fill at 73K. The CME futures is not tethered to the exact price of this, right? I mean, we're at 71.2K, you're at 71K here. In the heat of that excitement, the futures could escalate a little bit more, and we could fill that gap. So we could get up here, and the futures gap fills. But I would think that we don't stop here, that we do stop somewhere around 73 to 73.4K, if not higher. I mean, who knows? Maybe we go all the way up to like 74.7K. Maybe we see something like that, or something between 73.8K and 74.7K, something in this range. But I do think that we'll move higher. And at this point in time, that's the minimum expectation. This is a pretty solid expectation to have right here between 73.4 and 73K. And then I would even say at a maximum of 74.7K or anything in between is also acceptable. That's the expectation. I think that happens over the next 3 days. If it happens today, it's by the end of the day and we're all the way up here. Well, then over the next 2 days after that, instead of over the next 3 days, we will be moving down. I don't expect that we are going to see persistent, continued growth, even if we see a higher high here. Though I'm sure that most of the market will. Most of the market will flip gears. We're looking at this on the RSI. Market makers playing you guys like a fiddle, man. It's been actually very easy to trade this range. It's been very easy to trade this range. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I don't think everybody should trade, especially because a lot of us use the news to guide our emotions whenever it comes to the price action. I don't think that that's smart at all. But if you're just paying attention, any time that you've gone short above this line has been smart since February. Any time that you've gone long below this line has been smart since February. And I mean, if you're using 40x leverage, you're getting wrecked. But if you're using like 5x leverage, you're using short, like very low leverage, or even like 2x leverage, you can make some profitable trades. Like genuinely, you really can. Anyways, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I'm having a hell of a time with it. It's pretty fun. And it's very easy. It's really easy. You don't even need to look at the charts. Just look at X and see what everybody's saying. Whenever all the people who are freaking out about escalation come out, they think they're a bunch of geniuses. that's whenever it's time to go long. When all the people are saying that the bear market's over and that the bull market's back on, Trump won the war, and they're really excited the price is about to pump, and they're all a bunch of geniuses, that's the time to go short. It's the same thing, just on the opposite spectrum. If you're just playing off of people's emotions, which is exactly what's happening in the charts, you're a part of the winning side. Anyways, 4-hour time frame, the RSI is down here where we have found support consistently before. I said this back, I think I said this back on the 12th. Maybe I said it on the 11th. I doubt that we're just going to go to the oversold zone in one fell swoop. We probably see a move up and then a move down. Maybe we even move back up here and then a move down, whatever. But from where we are here, between the 40 and the 35, Bitcoin does like to find support, so I do assume that we'll move up from here and probably see a lower high overall. If not a lower high, again, maybe we get overbought. Perhaps we get that higher high there, and then we sell off still. The stochastics are coming out of the oversold zone, though they're not there yet, but taking a bullish posturing here. You've been oversold for quite some time. I mean, we can identify the last few times that you've been oversold in this fashion, right? Even here. And we'll take that. And looking at this was a relative low point. You did move up a little bit. It's not really what I'm looking for, but still, that was a relative low point there. And then you had a nice move up. You had a relative low point here, and then you had a little bit of a move up, a relative low point here as well. It's a relative low point. Again, this isn't saying through the roof. It's just saying a little bit of a move up, maybe even a higher high, something in this zone, guys. That's probably what we're going to see between now and Wednesday, I would think. Looking at the MACD, we're also right at the zero. It's a perfect area to bounce from, and I think that we will bounce from here. We rejected. We might see something exactly like this, where here we rejected the zero. We saw a partial bounce to the downside, and then we crossed through. We might see the same thing here, where we reject the zero, we get a partial bounce, and then we cross through. I could see that happening. Daily time frame here, if it loads, if it decides to. You can do it. Okay, there we go. Daily time frame rejecting the overbought area. I mean, it's clear as day that we have some working down to do, and we'll probably get down to this 40 to 35 area to find support, if not down toward the oversold zone. And again, I don't assume that it's going to be one fell swoop that takes us down here. I would imagine, looking at it like this, we probably work our way down here, and it might even be the beginning of May that we actually find support and that we start to move up again. We could be moving down for the rest of the month of April, and then finally start seeing some upside in May. But I digress. That's all the same stuff that I said, I think, in the beginning. Looking at the stochastics, we're coming out of the overbought zone. We got overbought here, we got overbought here, we're overbought now. And each of these times we came out, we're coming out right now. And whenever we came out here, down. We went from basically 74K all the way down to 66K, a little bit below there. We went all the way from 76K here to about 65K, right? From that down. Here we are, all the way up at about 73.5K. We're probably going to go below 67K, you guys. That's my expectation, or at least somewhere around there. Makes a lot of sense to me. And the MACD is useless. It's especially useless when you're in a choppy sideways environment, which undoubtedly is exactly where we are now. I mean, here we were in a choppy sideways environment over here, and you can see that we crossed right above the zero. That's very, very bullish. When you cross above the zero, look at that. That was actually the worst time to buy. We got creamed right afterwards. So, and I was getting excited about that before, but again, the MACD is less reliable when you're choppy and sideways. The stochastics are too. Most indicators are as well, but the MACD is especially a lagging indicator, and with that, whenever you're choppy and sideways, it's just not helpful in that kind of environment. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. The game plan, in case it wasn't abundantly clear in this video, is that here we are at 71.2K. We're going to move up. We're probably going to get above 73K. We even could see higher prices than this, and I'm looking to go short once we're there, and I'll probably hold that short until we are. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I haven't been doing it like this. What I haven't been doing this whole time is I have not gone short and then gone long here. That's not what happened. Now I did go short here. I did go long here. I actually went short here with very low leverage, and then it went up. I was in the red. I added to the short, and then I took profits here. And then I did not go long, but I went short here, and then I did go long down here. I cleared it out. So I've been trading it in between the range. I don't think that it's just going to be one move down. And I've gotten in the habit personally, and I've found a lot of success in this, you guys. I've gotten in the habit of just taking profits even if I expect that the price will keep moving in the direction that I think it is. I'm not trying to catch the whole swing. I'm just trying to catch 2% to 6% profits. And if I go to bed and I wake up and it's a little bit more than that, cool. I don't really have sell orders set up. I have stop losses set up, and I just kind of take it as it is. And if I'm sitting at like a 10% gain, I don't even think about it. I just take profits. Even if I think it's going to keep going in my direction, I just take profits, take profits, take profits, and then I wait for the next setup. I don't force a trade as soon as I take profits. I wait for the next setup. I wait for it to be obvious. And if it's not obvious, I just wait. I keep waiting and waiting. We've got plenty of time. It's going to be until June likely that we find the top, and even then we're going to have plenty of time. I think we're going to break out of this range in July. It might even be August, guys. We're in for a boring time. We might be halfway through it at this point with that kind of perspective. We've got plenty of time. Okay. Anyways, just some thoughts. Probably best to stay away from trading, leverage trading altogether, but just some thoughts from somebody who's been having a lot of fun doing it since March, man. And I normally don't trade like this. Normally, I feel like I've been doing more like day trading type stuff, and not even day trading, but just more throughout the week trading. I'm more of like an opportunistic person as far as like I'll make like 5 or 10 trades in a year. That's normally how I do it. But I've been messing around a little bit more, and it's been good so far. But sometimes that doesn't end the best. The best thing to do, again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if you are trading, let's say, for example, you took $1,000 and turned it into $2,000. I think the best thing to do would be if you took 1,000 and turned it into two, you take some of those profits, like so you have $1,000 profits, take half of it, put it into Bitcoin, put it into Ethereum, put it into USDC and let it stake and provide yield. Put it into something that's safe, and then keep trading with the rest. And then whenever you double that, take half those profits again, and then and just keep doing that, so that when you do get boned, if you ever do get boned, you're not using stop losses, which you always, I think, should, especially if you're using leverage. You should have stop losses. You should have an exit plan every time. I mean, that is instrumental in not getting effed, man. You have to know how to lose more than knowing how to win. If you don't know how to lose, whenever it comes time to lose, it doesn't matter how much you won, you'll get creamed. So that's the most important thing. It's not knowing how to win, it's knowing how to lose. Because you could win 9 out of 10 times, but that one time out of 10 could just crush everything. So if you don't know how to lose, I don't care how right you are, right? That's where that saying comes. I don't really say it as much because I try not to encourage trading, but we're talking about it, so whatever. It doesn't matter how much you win. It matters how much money you make. You can be wrong more than you're right. It doesn't matter if you're more right, right? A good trader doesn't care about how right you are. They care about what's your P&L. What are you doing successfully as far as trading goes? You could be right once out of 10 times and make money. The other guy could be right 9 out of 10 times and still lose money. So that right there just tells you it's not about being right or wrong. It's about risk management. So hear these words thoroughly. You need stop losses. You need an exit plan. You need to be good, not at being right, but at being wrong. Because if you're bad at being wrong, you'll lose everything at once. So in that respect, most people are pretty bad about being wrong. I myself have been bad about it in the past. What I found is a good way to kind of mitigate that is I take those profits, I move them to the side so that whenever I am wrong and I take a big loss, if I'm not using stop losses, that's why stop losses are so important. If I'm wrong and I take a big loss, I have funds on the side that are sitting there for me, that I've taken profits from my trading. So even if it gets creamed and it hurts the position a lot, whatever, I still have something to build back from instead of nothing. Because with leverage trading, you likely will go to zero. 99% of you guys watching this, even more probably, will go to zero if you try. So start low, have fun with it, lose all your money and get it out of your system, and then just you'll learn that the best thing to do really is probably just invest and hold things for the long term and not to trade. But nonetheless, it has been a very fun tradable range. And I've been having a lot of fun with it over the past like month and a half myself. So hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.